All right, all right, all right. We're in the building. We're in the building. How y'all doing?
Good.
Great.
What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to the Firefighters Wear Pink public service announcement for the Battle of the Bravest. That's right. That's right. Sponsored by some of our signature sponsors. Our first signature sponsor is Assemblywoman Brittany Timberlake. She practices principles over politics. Let's put that beautiful sponsorship logo on the screen, sir. And we're going to clap it up for Miss Brittany. Brittany Timberlake, Principles Over Politics. This is our lineup for the Firefighters Wear Pink Battle of the Bravest weekend. We'll have the Black and Gold ceremony gala taking place on October 22nd. We will have the Battle of the Bravest Day, actually October 23rd, taking place in Orange Park. We'll also have the same day, at the same time, Family Fun Day, taking place inside Orange Park as well. And we'll do our grand finale with the Pink Masquerade Ball and Banquet. Thank you very much. All right, all right, all right. So this is a public service announcement to speak on the Battle of the Bravest event that we have coming up real soon. I am your host, Firefighter Greg Pierre, founder of the Firefighters Wear Pink campaign. You can clap if you like to. You can clap. There it is. The Firefighter Wear Pink campaign. We are a nonprofit. We do special events with fundraisings. We focus on fire safety awareness as well as breast cancer and all cancer awareness. This is our October show. In October, we do more of a campaign for different events. Right here, I have a lovely catalyst of hosts and guests that we're going to talk to for a few minutes here, just to briefly let you know some of the people that go into making these fine events actually real for the local community and governments that we preside and do our services in. This is my lovely co-host, Miss Josie Speaks. Let's clap it up for Miss Josie Speaks.
Hello, 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 everyone.
Josie, how are you?
I am amazing. How are you?
Thank you for making it.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Tell them a little bit about your organization before we get started. My co-host does a lot of things. There's no names at this table. I'm probably on the bottom of the totem pole. Please.
Oh, that is not true.
Let's build it up. Let's build it up.
Oh, and my name is Josie Ann Payu, but I go by Josie Speaks. That is my brand. I am also the founder of New Jersey Kids Fashion Week. We just had an amazing show 2 weeks ago at Livingston Mall. Mm-hmm. Also, I am a wedding officiant. I'm a sports mom. Mm-hmm. I'm an educator. Mm-hmm. And the list goes on. I'm a motivational speaker. Yes, I do women conferences. Must I continue or that's good?
Drop those bombs. Drop the bombs, Mom. Yes.
So that's just a little bit about me.
Yep. And Josie will be one of our hosts for the actual Battle of the Bravest event. So when you come to the event, you'll hear her lovely voice making sure she will be the master of ceremony. This will be an all-day event taking place from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. in Orange Park. It's an all-day affair. If you haven't ever been on muster, let me introduce some of my guests. Maybe they can help us out. Chief, tell them who you are.
Chief Mike Gibbons I'm a battalion chief in the City of Newark Fire Department. And Greg's one of the firefighters I work with daily, and he's, fantastic guy.
Appreciate you. Vice versa.
Absolutely.
I'll cut the check later for you, Chief.
No
Thank
problem. You owe me a few bucks.
And Doc, tell them who you are, Doc.
My name is Anthony Ciccone. I'm a physician in New Jersey. I've been practicing for about 30 years. My background is emergency medicine as well as family practice, and I've been working with different fire departments and police departments throughout the state for about 30 years.
Nice. So we have you two guys here to showcase and speak on behalf of another one of our signature sponsors. That's Medical Essential Diagnostics. Let's throw that Medical Essential Diagnostics logo up there on the screen for me, Marvin. Let them know when they see Medical Essential Diagnostics, they see us, they see you, they see the Firefighters Wear Pink campaign. These are our guys. We trust them. We work with them. And today we're here to have this public service announcement to kind of tell you guys a little bit more about you guys, all right? So I would like to let Miss Josie, maybe you should talk a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, Doc mentioned he was in New Jersey, but he didn't say where in New Jersey. So where exactly are you located?
Well, we have multiple offices. We have an office in Newark, New Jersey, the old Columbus Hospital, which is now Silver Lake Medical Hospital. We also have a practice in Morristown, right across from the hospital itself on Madison Avenue. Those are our two major offices.
Okay, so that's awesome. So let's get right into the questions. Let the people know about your services, what you do, how you can help them, and how we can get them to help you also, right? Because you have to run a business.
Yes, it's two hands that clap. How do we do it? Basically, we provide a comprehensive service. When you come to us, we do a full assessment in terms of your needs, especially for fire, police, teachers. And we also have what's called a couples program, whereas the significant other of the fireman, firewoman, policewoman can come and also get, because obviously our families are affected by our career as much as we are. So I think that's one of our signature programs. We provide a service that I'd like to say is not only comprehensive, because that's such an overused word,
Yes.
but it's collaborative. So
Okay.
I sit down with the patients and we go over their history, their family history, their social history, their medical history, and I tell them, you're doing great now, but I want to help you do great 10 years from now.
Nice.
Exactly.
So just like you have a financial planner, you have a lawyer, you have an accountant, you have a spiritual advisor, I like to think of us as your health advisors.
Nice.
I like that. So let me ask this. What is the age group usually that you see that are part of your services?
We have first responders, they're in their late teens, starting out, and really want to have a good understanding where their health is and what they could do to optimize their growth and their not only their health future, but also their career. Because if you're healthy, you do better in your career.
Exactly.
And so from late teens to I've had retirees in their 70s.
Got it.
Nice.
Okay.
And we also have here Chief. Chief is here to speak a little bit more on I would say more of a in the field type of understanding of what medical essential diagnostics is to us. So, Chief, you had a testimony you want to give the day.
I do have a testimonial. This is how I got involved in a program. Roughly about 10 years ago, I was competing in jiu-jitsu, MMA. I would say I was roughly a world-class athlete at the time, competing. I went to the World Fire Police Games, and on my way to those games, I had to get a physical. And I went through some of the tests that you're going to receive when you go to medical essentials diagnostics. And one of those tests picked up something. And here I am. I'm in great shape, rolling with the best guys in the world. Throw a few names out there: Jim Miller, Frankie Edgar, the kid Khabib, some of the best guys in the world, and I'm in good shape. So there's no reason for me to think, hey, I have an issue.
Right.
So I went and competed in the Fire World Police Games, and afterwards, back of my head is like, let me get this checked out. And I did get it checked out, and I went through all these tests again, and it ended up being my aortic valve, one of the cuspids wasn't closing all the way. So in one of your valves, when your valves open, they shoot blood out and they close. Every pump, boom, boom, boom. So one wasn't closing all the way. The aortic valve is one of the hardest valves because it's under the most pressure. I'm going to confirm that with the
That's
doctor.
correct.
Okay.
That's correct. So, unfortunately, I happen to know a lot about the heart. So, I did my research, and they were sending me to St. Barnabas to get a valve replacement. And I just something in the back of my head said something's not right. And I did my research. Long story short, I went to the Cleveland Clinic, and I ended up going there, and there was a guy there that happened to see something on one of the scans. He says, you know what? It looks like it's part of one of your leaflets, your cuspids is hanging. It's not missing. You don't have a tricuspid, because some people do. Since working with this, you find out people either have it worn out from an infection, which rheumatic fever does, or some people are born with a tricuspid. When they're supposed to have 3, they have 2. And over time, they wear out easier. So guy said, you know what? Never seen it before. Seen it one time. He had a jet pilot from G-Force.
Okay.
And he was able to pull it back and repair it. He says, I might be able to do that for you. And I went out to the Cleveland Clinic. My wife drove me out there, and sure enough, the guy was able to do it.
Beautiful.
Oh,
He
wow.
went in there, pulled it back, and from my understanding afterwards from speaking to the cardiologist, if I didn't catch that, I probably wouldn't be here today.
Oh, wow.
So just your conditioning, how you feel, I was at the highest level, running, being physical. There's nothing better than getting tested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Chief, if you don't mind me asking, how
Sure.
old were you when you found out that information?
I was like 40, 42.
And I want to say something. Like when I came on, I was a probie when he came on. I was a rookie firefighter when he came on. Always looked like a guy that was in shape. Chief, you always was somebody I kind of looked up to. You know what I mean? Just as far as how you carried yourself, a real man's man type thing. You know what I mean? So you never know what's really going on internally. Like we'll put so much. I'm in the gym, so I know how it is. You put so much work in to your diet, whatever it may be, working out, and you think, hey, if I'm not, if I'm able to run, I can live, I'm top notch. But there's always something going on internally that you might not be able to catch, and that's why.
One big caveat to all that is because I was in great shape, kind of was working against me because I wasn't having some of the symptoms that would have said, hey, listen, you passed out or you were feeling lightheaded. That wasn't happening to me because my body was so efficient with everything. So it was actually working against me. Wow. And one of the doctors said, that can happen.
Yeah.
Because every place I went to, when you have an issue, you'll take steps. You go you're gonna go here, you're gonna go there, and everyone asks the same questions. And these guys going, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" I'm like, "There's nothing wrong with me. I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah.
So,
and it's like since I've been working with medical essential diagnostics, I've been telling a lot of the young guys that are coming. I meet a lot more the rookie firefighters that they come in, and I tell them, hey, you need to get tested now as a checkpoint. You know what I mean, Doc? Because I feel like if you take this test earlier in your career, and if there is a situation, you can kind of spot and check it. But if there isn't a situation early in your career and you take the same test again later on, it's easy to kind of call checkpoints if you have issues or something like that. Is that a safe?
It's a safe statement, and I think that you have to look at the testing and the evaluation as a set point. So even if they're all normal, you have something. You have an understanding of what your health is all about. And as the chief was saying, what hurts you is what you don't know. And no matter how you feel, there's always issues. Over the last 30 years, I've had 23-year-olds that we've diagnosed with lymphoma of the lungs from listening, who had no symptoms. We've diagnosed dozens of prostate cancers in men. We've diagnosed people with kidney cancer who their only complaint was tightness in their back. So the bottom line is you need to have an understanding. If you're going on a long trip, you're going to evaluate your car and your equipment. If you're going on a long trip, which is your career, your life, you need to have that understanding, whether you're 20, 40, or 60, or 80. And at each point, there's different things we need to look at, but we need to take a better understanding what your family history is to see how it's going to affect you, what your social history is. And obviously, we all can agree in the medical literature that as a first responder, especially fire, you're going to have a higher rate of certain things, certain cancers, certain stressors, and we need to take that into consideration. So if you're starting a career, you need to come to us. If you're in the middle of a career and you want the best for your life, you need to come to us because we're going to give you the comprehensive approach of testing, understanding, and guidance. It's not a test that you're coming to. This is about testing, diagnosing, and guiding you.
Now, is this safe to ask? Is this just good for firefighters, or just fire and police, or are there other essential workers you would recommend this type of test for?
Absolutely, I think teachers,
and
pretty much anybody. My situation, actually, one of the most important things you need to know is you need to go annually. And one of the reasons for that was my issue was from impact.
Okay.
So the year before, I didn't have an issue.
Right.
So somewhere in that year span, I had received a blow from sparring, from competing, that somehow created that issue. So although rare, from year to year makes a big difference.
Right.
So it's really important to do an annual test, and I think anybody really should go with their family members. I mean, we go. I took my wife and my 5 daughters.
Nice.
To see Dr. Saccone.
Hey,
yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
But I think reevaluating, I tell my patients, you don't want to look at the map when you're lost. You want to look at the map before you get lost. So you want to look at your health before you get the illness. I had a patient recently, last week, had no symptoms, and he's going to be diagnosed and treated well, but he has prostate cancer. had no symptoms, 46 years old. And I have tons of those stories, and most doctors do. So the key is to get a good understanding, get a comprehensive evaluation, and then we provide you with all this information. And if you choose to go back to your primary, we love that. If you want me to talk to your primary, if you want me to get you a primary, if you want me to find you a cardiologist, once again, it's not about the testing, it's about the guidance. So we take those tools and we empower you to be healthier. And I think that's really what it's about. And it's such a great feeling to do that, to enable someone to be healthier.
So I want to, I feel like I want to represent the guys that don't know. And I feel like this is kind of a question I get sometimes. So I have a medical group that I deal with that I go to already. What's the benefits of me stepping outside of my medical group to get tested with medical essential diagnostics?
What we provide is not, we don't provide a service that replaces what you have.
Okay.
We provide a glove to what you have.
Nice. I like how you put that. I like
so
how
we
you put
provide a better understanding. You come to us, we're going to check your lungs, pulmonary function tests, and chest x-ray, which normally your primary doesn't do. You'd have to go to a pulmonologist.
Right.
We would provide an echo of your heart, circulation test of the neck and legs, which you would have to go to a cardiologist. We would provide blood work in the office, which you would have to go to a lab.
Right.
So what we provide is a comprehensive, so that way you're empowered to have all this in one place.
Right.
Because I don't know anyone that's not pressed for time in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where.
Absolutely,
So
yes.
we empower you to do this, and then I could do a telehealth, so that way when I have all the results, I call you and we can go over, or you could come back in. So once again, it doesn't replace what you have; it empowers what you have.
Got you.
So instead of waiting 2 to 3 months to see this doctor, that doctor, you have the pulmonary understanding, the lung understanding, the heart understanding, blood work. So you, once again, you have a really good understanding of where your health is and what you could do to make it better in one place.
Nice, nice. Now,
good.
Josie, I want to tell you that one thing I like about medical essential diagnostics is that I know hate is, I know you like the word hate, but I hate waiting in the doctor. I hate it. Like, if you know what I mean, if I take a day off and I gotta go to the doctor, I wanted to go to the doctor, and you know, it should be like, it should be like going to
So
Wendy's.
as soon as if your appointment is at 1,
Yeah, I
the
wanna
doctor
go-
should be able to see you between 1 and 1:05 the latest.
And if I'm 15 minutes late, it shouldn't be a 3-hour visit. That's how I look at it. You know what I mean? But one thing I do appreciate is that the availability of times for like the booking. This is one group I know that, you know, when I try to book with my own doctor, it was like 2 months out for me to book something. I
Yes.
booked with these guys. It was like, you want to come in Monday? I'm like, Monday when? They were like, tomorrow, Monday. Like, Monday.
Because
Yes.
most doctors now, especially after COVID, you know, the waiting time is ridiculous. And
Yep.
it's not fair to the patient that really has an urgency. Well, to them, it's an urgency. Anything pertaining to your health, in my opinion, is urgency.
Yes.
And if I'm calling to make an appointment, I mean, I don't want to wait 2-3 months out for my appointment, because between that time frame, anything can happen.
Right.
So yeah, I agree.
And I think the doc could elaborate on with the post-COVID testing he does with the lungs. Because one of my daughters, actually, there was an issue, was post-COVID, and you know, she had to go back 6 months later and get checked up again.
Post-COVID, there's been a lot of things that we just didn't know about. So people that even don't have the shortness of breath have asthma, which you won't feel, but it'll put stress on your heart. Then there's all the other issues, post-COVID fatigue, post-COVID cardiac situations. So my recommendation post-COVID is to get this comprehensive approach, even though all I had was the sniffles. So I diagnosed 2 people just this week already with asthma that they never had, but they had COVID. And they had the sniffles, they had the cough, didn't even get any antibiotics. So COVID is obviously expanded. All the rules are gone. After 30 years, I had to open up the medical textbooks again, and which is fine. But the key thing, once again, we're not a replacement of what you have. We're augmenting what you have. We're not a test. We're an understanding, and we're a process. And we will see you that week, whether it's at X or Y facility. We will see you that week.
And
Okay.
you got it, Queen.
So let me ask you a question, because you said you're a glove to what we already currently have, right? So how does that work with insurance? Because that's also a big
Good
topic
question.
now
That's a
in
good
regards to people with their insurance, what's covered, what's not covered. Primary care physicians now are part of a particular group, and they're not part of this particular group. Like all these restrictions, right? So how does that work with your company?
Well, insurance.
Or your office, sorry.
Well, the insurances will cover almost all of that. And if it's not really the patient's responsibility.
Yeah.
So the key thing is that by putting in the context of what we're trying to do, the insurance will cover most of it.
Okay, got it.
And I was talking to one of the reps, and they basically said to me that, we are full first responders. He's like, look, if there's a situation where you get billed or something for something that's not expected, don't even worry about it. They're not. There's no out-of-pocket cost to some of the first responders. So
Good to
that
know.
gave me a level of comfort once I went myself, because I'm one of those young guys. I just got some insurance, and I didn't know.
If you don't know if it's a good plan or not, if it's a PPO, if it's a traditional,
See, I didn't know
if
all
it's
that
HMO.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, HMO. I heard that. They asked me that group number. I didn't know. I gave them the card. I smiled. She was like, "Newark Fire, Blue Cross Blue Shield." She smiled. She took it. So
And we've dealt with this in different municipalities, and it's never really been an issue.
Okay.
beautiful.
Because
That's
obviously
good.
that's our approach. So we're not looking to make this a wallet biopsy. We're looking at the big picture.
Nice. What are some of the most serious things like tests like this and kind of like avoid or catch or I should be aware of? Like,
Well, obviously
Like-
post-COVID, there's been a whole different from pneumopneumonia to bronchitis to cardiac disease, heart disease, as well as chronic fatigue. So we've caught a lot of that. On an average week, we're diagnosing new people with new onset diabetes that they didn't have an understanding of, and they've never been treated. And then we've caught outliers, prostate cancers, lymphoma, with the chest x-ray and the lung evaluation, asthma. So there's a lot of opportunities. So and even hepatitis, we were testing patients who obviously are high risk, not because of anything but your age. So if you're over a certain age, you should be tested. And hepatitis is still one of the fastest growing diseases in the United States. So there's a lot of stuff that we will tailor. So it's not one shotgun and we see what we get. Certain things are tailored based on your family history, your social history, your BMI, which is your weight versus your height. So, and with that's why we have a high yield, because we're not just doing one thing for everyone.
yeah,
Because your needs and my needs are different.
Are different.
Right? So, and to have that understanding gives us a greater understanding of what you need, and we diagnose more.
nice.
Because we spend the time. I spend a lot of time. I always tell patients, I ask a lot of questions. So we're doing a review of symptom meetings. How are you doing? Chest pain, shortness of breath. How are you doing with sleep? When was the last time you got asked about sleep when you go to a doctor's office?
Yeah,
Sleep is a third of our day,
Absolutely.
and you need to have restorative sleep.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with sleep apnea issues, which we're diagnosing on a weekly basis.
yeah. I know I don't sleep enough.
Right. So, well, it's not only enough; it's the quality, right? So we're dealing with sleep issues. We're dealing with social issues, alcohol and sugar, and all those issues. We're evaluating people for thyroid issue, which is rampant in especially first responders, because your thyroid and your bladder and your prostate and your testicles and all those issues are higher incidence of cancers in those areas.
Wow.
So we have an understanding. So I'm testing first responders that are exposed to smoke differently.
Right.
I'm
right.
evaluating
That's
for
true.
asthmatic changes that are, you spend 30 years in the inner city dealing with fires. The studies are pretty clear. We learned that from 9/11
True.
and continuing
Absolutely,
forward.
yeah.
So once again, it's tailoring, it's understanding, and it's guidance.
Beautiful.
Yeah, my experience back to the insurance, when my family went, there was no out-of-pocket cost. And on some of the guys who went over the past 20, 30 years, they've caught quite a few guys who would have massive heart attacks.
Yeah.
Taking these tests, going that one day to go through the process, might be what, 2.5 hours?
Yeah, like 2.5.
Yeah, at least 2.5 hours, because
Yeah.
I tell people you're going to 4 different doctors in one office.
Yeah.
So in terms of the cardiac stuff, on a weekly basis, we're diagnosing people with unstable angina. What does that mean? It means that the flow through your heart is not good.
Okay.
So that's it's a pre-heart attack syndrome. That's a weekly basis we're diagnosing.
Wow.
And you don't have to have a short chest pain or shortness of breath. But when I put you on the stress test machine, when I'm doing the ultrasound of your heart, I'm getting a true understanding. And we've had 2 patients who've had cardiac caths and are doing well now because, and this is well within the last month.
Wow. Last month.
And hepatitis, we're diagnosing that. And we've had multiple people with prostate cancer and multiple people with lymphoma.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So I want to bring this to a stopping point. I want to also thank our guests for coming and speaking on. Should we put out, if you guys want to find out more about medical essential diagnostics, if you visit www.medicalessentialdiagnostics with a S.com, you can go on their website and you can actually schedule your appointment today if you're in the greater New Jersey area.
Yes, you can.
Yep, you guys are always opening new offices. I see
Yep.
you guys are always
Yep.
opening new offices. I might need a place to stay if I don't start paying my
Yep.
rent. So
We got you.
thank you. I appreciate that. I'll hold you to that, Chief. You know what I mean?
You got 20 firehouses you can stay in too.
This is true. So
We always got somewhere to go.
exactly.
We have a tremendous availability in a sense that we start seeing patients at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yes. Yes.
We have Saturday hours. So, you know, we're affable. I always say the success is the 3 A's, right? You have to be affable. You have to be likable. Our staff understands that this is a service industry, this is a service business, and that we need to give back to the first responders.
Nice.
And then the other A is availability. I mean, so we make ourselves available to talk, and the doctor is the one that's going to go over the test with you.
Nice.
We don't just kind of hand the ball off.
Nice.
So we really take this to a different level because our commitment is about really understanding what the first responders need, because at the end of the day, we're at this point in life because the first responders helped us get through the last couple of years, right? We wouldn't be doing. So I think it's also about giving back, not to sound corny as they say in the neighborhood.
Nice.
But I think it motivates me. I enjoy going to work because I really enjoy not only making those diagnoses, but I really enjoy that sense of camaraderie because first responders want to do better, want to be better, and want to serve better.
Appreciate that. Doc, what office do you work out of?
I do Morristown and Newark. I go
Nice.
back and forth. I grew up in Newark, so
Nice.
you can't get it out of me.
Say no more. Say no more.
So let me say this before we close. What would you say to a listener right now that's hesitant about the services? Because, of course, you know, I find men don't always want to know about their diagnostic, right? So what would you say to that firefighter, that first responder in this particular moment that's listening and they're hesitant, like, should I make an appointment? Shouldn't I? What would you say to them in this moment?
I think what I would say and that I would ask you to consider is that you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for your people that love you. Mm-hmm. You're doing it for the people that you serve as a fire person, a police person, a teacher. So you have to. There's so many people that will benefit from this, and the biggest one that will benefit is all of us. Mm-hmm. We're a community, and yes, we are our brother's keeper. Yes. I believe that, and I think that empowering the first responders in this situation, you got to help others, and you can't help others if you don't start with yourself.
Appreciate that.
Well said.
Well said. So this is the part where we run through the flyers and the flash. I'd like to thank Medical Essential Diagnostics for sponsoring us. We'd also like to thank a list of our other sponsors. Come on, Marvin, let's start throwing those flashes on the screen. Like I said, we're doing the Battle of the Bravest event. We have we do a catalyst of different events through the month of October. October, of course, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month as well as Fire Safety Awareness Month. So the Firefighters Wear Pink campaign does a list of different events. That's why we team up with different organizations, much like the organization sitting in this chair right here. And we do community involvement events to raise funds for cancer survivors and different fire service individuals affected by cancer. And that's all cancer, not just breast cancer. I'd like to go ahead and thank our signature sponsor, Ms. Brittany Timberlake, Principles Over Politics. Check her out. It's election season. She's a great woman. She sponsors us. What else to say about that? We have a list of other sponsors, the firemanteacher.com, of course, by yours truly, Greg Pierre, the firefighter in pink, as well as a list of different sponsors. What else we got up there, Marvin? The Battle of the Bravest event will be this Sunday, October 23rd, where Miss Josie Speaks will be hosting Medical Essential Diagnostics. Thank you so much, Chief and Doc, for actually being at the table. Yeah, if you actually go to these actual locations, you may see these guys, and if you let them know, you say, hey, I seen you on this TV with Greg, so I can get my little kudos. I told him I'm a real C-list celebrity right here. And of course, we're always looking for sponsorship dollars to help us get events like this. If you have a small business or organization, reach out to us and join our platform, and we'll shine our spotlight on you as well, so you can reach out and tell your message to our clientele and different folks out there. With that said, thank you to our sponsors, Wyclef Jean, Fuchsia Design, Brittany Timberlake, Admire, Edge, Bayway, North Fire Department, and everyone else on that screen. Pay attention to the screen. Follow us to see more information on us. And I think that's about it. This is when the claps come along, and we say, good fight, good night.
Good fight, good night.
Thank you for listening to the Firefighters Wear Pink public service announcement. Thank you.
Thank you.